Hi, my name is Manuel Flores.
Hi, my name is Andrew Morales.
Our topic is, should we raise off-food animals free range and pasture raised? We will be explaining the foresight. We're group 7s. We're in class Animal Science 67, section number 2, and December 2nd. There's a lot of history with the free range and pasture raised animals, the way people farm. For free range and pasture raised farming has been around for many centuries. When people survive, they've always had their chickens out roaming, you know what I mean? Many animals are raised free range and have been for so long. For example, chickens, sheep, cattle, goats, even like having dogs, they're free range. The USDA's an industry standard definition for free range is that birds must have outdoor access or access to the outdoors. In some cases, this can mean access only through like a pop hole with no full body access to the outdoors and no minimum space requirement. So what that means is, like, for chickens, they have a little barn and they still have that pop hole where they come out and be roaming around. So in the picture in the bottom left corner, we can see the cattle. The cattle are in the mountains. I'm not sure if you've passed by going to Paso Robles on 46, Highway 46. You can always see cattle roaming around. That is free range. On the right side, bottom right hand corner, you see the chickens just roaming around, enjoying their lives and just living.
Ethical aspects involved in animal use. Ethical aspects of free-range, pasture-raised use in the animal industry has a lot of different viewpoints. In reality, it gives a better quality of life for all animals. Some of the ethical pros for free-range animal use is that the animals are less stressed, as well as they produce better quality meat or eggs or any other byproducts. For example, free-range eggs have been found to be high in vitamin A as well as vitamin E, double the amount of omega-3 fatty acids with less cholesterol and saturated fats as well. They also have a higher meat quality due to keeping the natural high protein diet for the animals. I got that information from the taste. This is just an example of, it's just a great opportunity for the animal just to be free. They've produced better eggs. The meat is better. It's just a better situation overall. And in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that that's a group of calves that are out grazing out on a field, and they all look happy. They're all out there. And then in the bottom middle, you can see the chickens out free range, because that's a true example of free range chickens. They're out there, they're grazing, they're picking at the dirt, they're eating bugs, they're doing whatever they want to do, but they get to go inside and lay, or they can even lay outside. So it's just a greater opportunity to get better byproducts on the ground in the long run. That'll open up many doors for the producers as well as just a better product in general. Ethical aspects involved in animal use continued. Another example of why there's an ethical push for animals to be raised on free range would be nearly all major retailers, restaurant chains, food service companies, and packaged food companies in North America, South America, and Europe have announced they will make 1,000% of eggs, 100% of eggs, in their supply chain free range or cage free. Some have already completed the transition to free range or cage free. Others have announced plans to be cage free by 2021, 2022, or 2025. And I got that from the poultry side as well. This is just an example. It shows that many organizations do not want their name associated with non-humane treatment of animals. Um, I can see why some companies have to do the animals that are confined. I can see why they have to do it, but I feel like if you have the space, if you have the money, if you have the ability to run free range or pasture raised animals, I think it is the greatest opportunity to do that.
Sociological importance. There has been many regulations and laws added to the free range and pasture raised. So most of these laws were added for humane purposes. Like HFACS previous free range standards were written for what is now defined as pasture raised standards. They have a requirement for birds, like chickens, turkeys, anything like that. For 2.5 acres, that's how much land they need for every 1,000 birds to be considered free range, pasture raised. With this, it just gives people in the society to make sure that the animals have their own lives, they're living freely, they have their own freedom, and just enjoying their lives. The ones they get to live while they're here. Like in these two pictures, you can see they're in cages. The cat and the dog, they're in cages. It's not farming, but it's still considered in the same way of how other animals are, just such as chickens. They're in cages. They don't get left out. All they do is get fed, get water, and they're in there all day without having any space to go out and have fun, live their life, and be free. Sociological importance continued. PETA has many negative cons on how free range is bad for the animals, and many of their articles on what I have read, they're describing commercial chicken farming. Commercial chicken farming is a closed area, cages, and no air at all. For example, they have probably 1,000+ birds in one barn in their own cage that just produce eggs nonstop all day, every day, and that's their life. They don't have the freedom to come out, graze outside or anything like that. They get fed through the cages and all that. Free range farming helps animals have their freedom, and have it more humane for the animals to live a good life. It is more reasonable for the animals to be raised free range than commercially. Like you can see on the bottom right hand corner, that chicken, all those chickens, I mean, they're just in their habitat, just roaming around, grazing if they want some grass or anything like that, and they're happy. They don't have to. They're not stressed being in a cage and all that.
As today's society is more on the humane treatment of animals, free range and pasture raised animals should give the people what they want. For example, the European Food Safety Authority analyzed data from over 3,000 farms in the EU member states, finding that Salmonella enteritis is 5 more likely to be found in cage systems compared to free-range systems. The decreased risk of disease in cage-free environments is likely due to a combination of cage-free systems being cleaner, having fewer rodent and insect disease vectors, being easier to clean and disinfect, and the hens on bedding acquire more natural, healthy gut flora, being less stressed and therefore less susceptible to disease. And I got that from the poultry side as well. This is just an example of some of the pros that can be gained from free range or pasture raised animals. It's a stronger immunity for some of the animals. They're out in the elements. They're getting a better quality of life. They're getting to just be healthier. Like, for example, how it states a healthy gut flora. It's just giving them the opportunity to go actually be a chicken, be an animal, just do what they were bred to do, as well as produce for its owners, just still making it good overall for everyone that is involved. Current events continued. As stated in the last slide, currently people are pushing for free range and pasture raised animals, especially chickens. Another example would be eggs from free range or cage free farms also have lower levels of chemical residue from insecticides, lower levels of insect infestation, and a lower concentration of dioxin like contaminants. As well as numerous studies have found free range eggs or cage free eggs to have a healthier overall nutritional profile. Benefits found include less saturated fat and cholesterol and higher levels of protein. As a society, we are today, we like a lot of organic stuff. We like the stuff that hasn't been treated. Like, for example, I think this would be an amazing opportunity to just continue that, because it's gonna give a better opportunity for everything. You're not going to have as much medication. You're not going to have to deal with all those diseases and all that. Another example is I raise sheep, and I have probably about 20 head right now, so I try and keep everything as in pasture situations as much as possible. So they are growing the best. So they're happy, so I feel like it'll be better in the long run for me, because they'll start producing for me as well. I also work for a guy that runs show goats, and he does pretty much the same thing. He's got around 50 head, but I think it's just a better way to go about business, and I see that there's a lot of great qualities that can be gained from it. For free range and pasture raised, as I have had the opportunity to have multiple chances to actually see different setups, from commercial pig farms to seeing free range pasture raised cattle, chickens, as well as sheep and goats, like I stated earlier, I've been able to gain the experience to come to the conclusion that free range and pasture raised animals should be implemented as much as possible, giving the animals the best chance at no stress situations, giving them more freedom to do what they want, as well as improving egg production as well as meat production. Because pretty much why we have these animals here is to produce for us. Even if they're a pet or whatever, we just want the best product for us. So overall, I think that it's just an amazing opportunity.
Our informed opinion is very, very straightforward. From representation, we have really showed that free range and pasture raised animals have a good impact on animals. Animals such as chickens, cattle, sheep, and goats, they have the ability to just roam around the land and have the ability to eat how much they want, if the food is just placed there. For example, in the bottom right hand corner, you see here the cattle are just out, and they're just out, and they have all that grass to graze and to be able to just live, they have the ability to have the freedom and not be stressed in cages. So like chickens, when they're in cages, or like cattle, when cattle are together, they're very tight, especially since they're big. They're very stressed, and they just don't have the ability to grow the way they're supposed to. Is our informed opinion continued? Besides just having pros for the animals, the consumer has them for itself. Having free range animals, for example chickens, the eggs get more of the nutrients that the chickens are getting being free range, and that helps them get more protein for the consumer. If the consumer is happy, the producer is happy, and that was really what it's all about. So here is our reference sources: 5 minutes of free range meat you should know about, free range and pasture raised, why cage free, and why now.